Welcome back to the up and down matches. We are in our second set for the day and the second set of matches for the second set.
Exactly, we start things off with the Terran versus Terran after we've just seen the Zerg mirror match between Suoshin and Shine. It's now time for Maru against Alive. Here you can see the current score in the groups. Alive and Hero leading the group. Suoshin with a 1-1 in the middle, and Shine and Maru Prime both lost their first game.
Yeah, Maru not happy about his loss, looking very affected in the booth, and even in chat here, just putting a sad face as soon as he joined the lobby. Very clearly unhappy with the results so far, which kind of indicates, I feel, that he felt confident going into things beginning off, and that he feels he can get into Code S, and had a rough start so far here.
Now he is up against a player who says from himself that he loves the Terran mirror matchup, that this is his matchup where he feels the most comfortable in. He's up against Alive. Maru, on the other hand, of course, also a very good TVT player. He has a 64% win ratio, 18 wins and 10 losses. Yeah. Lost his last match against Fold, though, in Code A. His last TVT, of course.
And this is going to be a matchup that Maru, I think, can excel in. He loves, mechanical units, siege tanks. He's one of the first players to go double armory against Zerg, and he's done it against Terran as well. Alive known for TVT though, so we'll see what his plan is.
Alive is just chatting things up, whereas Maru once again is ready. Both of them are waiting for the map to load. The countdown has finished. Maru against Alive. Terran versus Terran. Here at the GSL up and downs, our last group of the week before we head into Code S next week. Let's get things started here.
Everybody get there! Everybody get there! Let's go more!
By the way, before you say anything, I'm going to say Maru does a 2-2-2 split with his workers really well, and also is really good at microing them to make sure they mine correctly. I'm just watching this, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, he's starting to the bottom of the map now. In the red, we have close air positions with these two players, but the Terran on screen is, of course,
Maru Prime. Literally about 10 Marines ahead of his opponent always because of this. And this is just a small thing, but it's something that is really impressive about how he opened up his split and his mineral efficiency. Very smart.
The blue Terran player on this map is starting for Fnatic. He won his first match. He was able to defeat Suoshin. And this is, of course, a Terran player called
Fnatic Alive.
Gas first for Maru.
Wants to be aggressive here, whereas Alive starts with the barracks. No gas so far. Will he add the refinery and go for attack, or will he start with the one barracks into expand? Something that we are going to find out very soon here. But with the close air position that we have, this is a good start for Maru.
Yes, it certainly is. And anything is possible here. He could go for a drop. He could go for Cloak Banshees, both of which will be, great in these positions. He could do something like Ryung did in the earlier matches as well. Proxy some structures, go for a big push with the faster siege tanks that you get granted with the gas first. This is something that Alive is going to want to find out as soon as possible. He has taken his gas at a normal timing, so he's not going to be vulnerable to Cloak Banshees necessarily. It's all going to come down to his Viking timing, for example.
Yeah, exactly. On a map like this, you can start with Viking. You can add, of course, also a Raven, and with a close air position being a possibility. Alive already checking the cross position. He knows, of course, that he will need it. So right now, my question is rather, what exactly does Maru do? Is he going to take his second gas? And if so, will he do damage with his Banshees? Or will he just, once again, start with some Hellions and go for a drop?
This is something that Alive is already going to be able to scout to a certain extent with his SCV. With the gas first, you have a later Marine, and therefore not able to deny your opponent's SCV scout. Does not see the second gas, though, and that's quite important.
With the second gas, of course, the tech has already revealed to, a certain extent, Maru most likely going for the Banshees here, and he has already the tech lab. But at the same time, now we have the factory being built by Alive, and Alive will add the starport, will get the Viking, most likely also a Raven, and then he finds himself in a good position to defend against the aggression of his opponent. When the barracks now moving away, this is the fastest timing that he can have for a Banshee. He builds the starport where the tech lab is, does not have to move it.
Yeah, if you go Hellion before the tech lab, then you do lose a few seconds, but you have the Hellion out. This is a choice that Maru has made, like you said, to make the fastest possible attack. Now, Alive does finish his factory. We'll start his starport very soon, but even if he has a Viking out, he's going to need a scan as well to go with it with this cloak build that we were seeing from Maru. So that's something that I wanted to just note very briefly. So even though he will have the Viking, there's going to be a window of time for Maru to do damage with his cloak.
Yeah, exactly. And also, one thing that you have to keep in mind is that unit control is very, very important, even if you have protection on the map and a Viking. And now this is a little bit unusual. I did not expect Maru to mess up like this. He allows the SCV into the main base, doesn't even kill it with the Marines. And now Alive sees everything. He has all the information that he needs. Nothing is hidden.
Now he's going to save scans, so he will no longer have that window that I talked about before. Oh, if he lets his Hellion in, okay. He still has to be careful, though. Well, the Hellion took too much damage, so he can't fight. The Marines are here, though, and this is really aggressive by Alive.
And he does not have enough units. But the Hellion dies without doing any damage at all. Those Marines are in trouble now, though.
Really nice micro by Maru, though, fighting 5 against 3 and still making it work until the next Marine came out. Great micro, in fact. Marines have the same range as each other, but Maru using the depots against him with great micro.
But lose another Marine, that was uncalled for. This is definitely something they could have avoided. Only because of the Hellion. The Hellion was in range.
Look at this, Viking meets Banshee. And this is not like Pac-Man.
Yeah, take a wild guess who's going to lose that battle.
He is hoping Cloak finishes in time for him to save it. Oh, he has the SCVs, but he missed repairs. He's going to lose it.
No, he won't. He actually repairs it just in time.
But now he's just paying money to keep this alive.
Yeah, he does.
It's having the opposite effect of what he wants.
He's chasing the Viking away, but you're right. He is the one losing mining time and, of course, also the cost that he has to invest for the repair. Alive doing a really nice aggression, but Maru, as you already mentioned, when he was microing those Marines on the high ground, he did a really good job and was able to get out of this in okay shape.
Now look at what Maru is doing here. He sends his own Viking to protect the Banshee against the Vikings of Alive. He's going to have to be careful about the Marines, of course, but second Viking pops out here for Alive. This is going to be the concern. Will he actually get the win on the fight? No, because he already took a shot, so he's going to escape here.
What he could have done is just trying to attack the Viking of his opponent, but now, funny as it is, the Banshee goes in once again, and now there is just no Viking, there is no combat shield, therefore 2 hits will take down a Marine, and he really makes this work. This Banshee is doing a lot of damage here, but now being spotted by the Xel'Naga Watchtower, not by the Xel'Naga Watchtower, but of course by the missile turret.
He really does not.
Scan is something that he is most likely not going to.
Yeah, he doesn't want to use it. Oh, ho, ho, that was so close.
Ouch! 2 hit points, but well placed.
Very well placed. He will actually damage this reactor a little bit further. The Cloak will run out, and then he will take it out. Another Banshee sneaks in. He's going to keep those split. Cloak runs out, the Marine takes it out, but he's going to lose this reactor. He doesn't have any SCVs to repair.
And the reactor is dead, but so is the Banshee. Both of them already died. Resources lost in total at this point. 1,200 against 1,000 in favor of Maru, actually.
Who's taking a hidden command center right now. Tricking Alive a little bit here, because Alive has seen, of course, the command center that's in the main base, but he's not going to know that there's another 3rd command center that he's hiding. Oh, he needs a cloak.
And he does. Just in time.
Well, premature decloak, though. Close call.
Oh, but he needs to be careful with his Viking. Tries to lure his opponent's air units into the Marine range. Not going to happen, though. Alive is paying attention. But Alive has a problem with his, well, he will have a problem with his bases. Right now he's on 2, but Maru is finishing his 3rd command center already.
Yeah. This, you know, he's just continuing to make Banshees as well, which is I find really interesting. He's made so many Banshees in this game, but he's going to find himself struggling to have air control later on if he continues this process. Alive actually now with 4th Viking out. No, 3rd. My mistake, he canceled the 4th one. But he's not going to be able to utilize the siege tanks like Alive can without air control. He has Banshees he can use, but he's spent a lot of resources on those, and they have not paid off as well as he would have liked for them to. They did some damage, they forced some scans. He killed the reactor, for example. That was one thing that he probably should not have been able to get, but he did get, so works out okay for him, but he's continuing to try to use these, as you can see here. He wants to force another scan.
And the scans forced are, of course, very, very good. As long as he can force a couple of scans, everything's fine here. And Maru is just also trying to buy himself some time. He has the 3rd orbital now, so he's ahead in economy, or he will be. The question is, how long is Maru able to delay his opponent's tech and also, of course, his unit production? So many SCVs killed here. Really well done. tries to get away, and there will have to be another scan, and there it is. Well placed, really well done by Alive, but still, this Banshee was once again worth it.
It really was, and Maru with the third command center up, though, all he has to really do is hold this next push from Alive, and he's going to be in a great position. Alive has a Hellion, the spot for that command center, but he has not seen it yet.
He doesn't know about the third, and there are not too many SCVs down at the bottom left. He's relying on a lot of mules right now. The Vikings trying to chase this additional Banshee. And of course the Banshees are also something that he can use against his opponent's siege tanks if he gets into to a good position. But right now Maru has also the siege tank upgrade completed, finds himself in a position where he can place them on the high ground in order to defend not only the main but also the natural.
Yeah, he's just slowing down these pushes, and he's killing the Marines on the watchtower. Alive has to go home.
These Banshees are beginning to be a pain.
Alive also lost his Hellion without seeing the command center, so he's completely in the dark right now. No combat shields for Alive. He's going to lose more Marines here. Hides in the bunker, has to use another scan. And he's got even another Banshee to contend with. Maru just doesn't stop the Banshees.
Yeah, he's everywhere with the Banshees, and he does so much damage. It's actually really cute. We have 9 SCVs killed already by the Prime player, and currently he's up with 8 Harvesters. He still has this expansion that Alive is currently building, but doesn't have just yet. So Maru is really making this work.
And, you know, you talked about the Harvesters killed at 9, but in total units killed, 34 to 11 in Maru's favor. He's killed so many Marines. All sorts of units all over the map he's killed. He's killed Vikings, several of them as well. He's taken a huge supply lead here. And part of the reason he has the SCV lead is comes from the Banshee. Part of it comes from the fact that he's had this third command center up for so long. It's saturated. He's even taken now his 5th gas there.
Yeah, exactly. He is just in a really great position when it comes down to his economy. In upgrades, Alive is a little bit ahead. His armory is going to finish very soon, and then he can start with +2/+2. But Maru is looking at a good army supply here with 56 to 41.
Alive is at 1. He's got no upgrades right now. He's about to have +1, whereas Maru already has one with his armory.
Oh, sorry,
finishing.
I mixed the two production.
Well, they both. Alive has his armory coming out as well, but he only did 1 upgrade at a time, so
yeah.
he's like he's in a better position to start his +2, but he's gonna be behind it overall. Actually, no, that's still
yeah, I just mixed the red and blue up on the production tab.
Okay. By the way, Maru, yeah, to clarify, Maru is ahead in upgrades. Alive does have +1, but he's behind in 2-2, and he doesn't have any armor at all.
There's the second set of upgrades, and only +1 finishing for Alive here. And right now, Maru with a 40 supply lead, and in the Terran Mirror, that is huge.
That is so huge. And the siege tank count right now, 6 to 4 in Maru's favor. Position-wise, he is actually going to be able to deny this command center.
And remember the Viking that he built earlier, that's patrolling now at the right side of his main base in order to make sure that there's no drop player on the Banshee coming in. And now he has a good shot at the third. He might actually be able to take it down. Probably just not being able to kill it. He's trying though, and
He forces the burn, which will cause a repair. He did use a stim in order to do so. His Banshee is still very annoying, and there's no third base mining for Alive, whereas Alive still has no idea that Maru even has a hidden third.
Yeah, he doesn't know. He has no clue, and now with Alive, as you already said, it has to lift his third base. Is not mining anymore from 3 bases, but only 2. Therefore, in an awkward spot. And Maru is just playing an amazing game. I would actually think that Maru is going to start a 4th base pretty soon if it continues like this.
I would like to see him make additional starports because the Viking leash is going to become a problem. Every time he tries to kill his Vikings with Marines, they're going to walk right into siege fire. And he's going to start to pick off these medevacs, and as soon as Maru wants to chase him, he just has not... Why did Alive do this? What a terrible decision to fly a command center into that many Marines.
And he knew that the Marines were there, so why would you do this? Especially not even really repairing his own command center.
Oh wow, loses a Viking, doesn't kill the Banshee.
And of course the scans being used here, but this is huge for Maru, who is now at 200 supply. He's maxed out. And +2/+2 is nearly done.
Those drops are going to go towards the base of Maru. He's going to have a Viking which will slow them down, but he won't be able to kill 2 medevacs with 1 Viking. He's going to have to react. We'll see how quick he reacts, because this is one way that Alive can try to get himself back into this game, but he's going to have to make these drops do a lot.
Yeah, and there are already Marines at the low ground of Maru's natural, so he can't just rally them into the main base and then attack. And here comes the 4th base for both of these players. Well, for Alive, it's actually the 3rd base right now, as he already lost 1 command center.
Oh, this is the worst possible time for Maru for the patrol, and he actually sent his Marines to defend his command center, his 4th command center, so these Alive Marines are actually doing a lot of damage. He can target down the Orbital, and he will.
Yeah, the Orbital just dies, and as you already said, this is one of the things that can bring Alive back into the game. Now Maru is losing a command center as well. The SCVs move in with a few Marines to take this force down, and he will not be able to do it. Where are those two Vikings? They are so the medivacs, they're completely abandoning the forces on the ground. He would have been able to push this back.
Yeah, very true. By the way, Maru is still ahead in supply, but he's not. He doesn't have the deficit that he once had. Still ahead in upgrades with +3 armor coming out first. Three orbitals, yeah.
Yeah, 3 orbitals coming in his way now.
Maru can have a lot more orbitals, but Alive's still getting one. And you know what they say? An orbital for an orbital makes the whole map mine. That's what they say, dude.
They do?
Yeah.
Okay.
That joke was terrible. But anyways, the factories are going to be taken out here. Well, if he wants to... this is not a map to do this on. He can't quite get into siege range. Alive is funneling through a choke point, and Maru getting so many free kills.
Now they are the siege tanks, and he is able to take down quite a lot of units. Look at the supply lead once again for Maru, whose upgrades are halfway done. He's actually faster with the +3 attack upgrade than Alive is. Maru's lead in upgrades is really significant. And now those command centers are finishing. He needs the upgrade for the orbital. His harvester count, of course, is now a little bit behind, as Alive was able to take down quite a few workers in the with the main base drop. But still, with all these extra mules, he finds himself in a good spot. This drop to the left side of the map could change it, though.
Yeah, he forced a cancel here on his command center. Maru's starting to fall apart a little bit. He keeps moving his entire army to deal with these. He's actually sending 2 full armies to deal with 1 medevac. This is not going to be something that... it's just an overreaction. Maru is still not controlling the air. He's got 10 medevacs to 4, but it's hard for him to actually use those to any effect because Alive has the air control.
Maru is still ahead in this game, of course, but you are right. He is starting to seem a little bit shaky. If Alive continues this and Maru is not preparing, then Maru might find himself in a spot where he falls behind his opponent. So he needs to stabilize again. He is now flying one of those orbitals to the left side in order to claim his 4th base.
He needs a siege! Why is Maru not sieging? He was on move command. He loses his tanks and now walks into siege fire. Alive is crawling his way back into this game.
Suddenly Alive has the tank lead with 9-4 and more Marines are dying. Small mistakes by Maru everywhere, forced by Alive. The Fnatic playing a really cool match after he lost initially way too many units to the Banshee eras. But right now Maru needs to be careful, as already mentioned.
Oh, he's looking like he wants to go for a Marine King drop. He is the teammate of the Marine King. So I'm calling him the Marine Prince.
The Viking attacks the only empty medivac.
That's very important. There are tanks in this drop as well. Needs to siege those.
That tank's for Alive too, and he can't even get close.
He's trying though. His Marine count is insane. He breaks through, and Alive now in trouble trying to break into his own main against siege tank fire and better upgraded Marines.
And all of those medivacs, of course, they still reinforce this attack. The last tank is not going to die. He even has a couple of tanks on the low ground right now, helping him out. And the production of Alive, if being camped, Alive is down 15 supply. He has his own drop to the bottom left, who forces those SCVs off the line. But we
there's
have
a lot of Marines,
yeah.
A lot of Marines to defend, and Alive losing too much production here. He walks his own siege tanks into the Marines and into the siege tanks of Maru. Maru actually can kill the starport and get out if he wants.
He kills the entire production, and it's not like Alive has a huge bank to rebuild every single building. Now, of course, he's banking up minerals because they can't spend them anymore, but he just doesn't have the time.
Exactly. And the orbital will escape, but gases are being taken out here. Alive now with half the supply of Maru. Maru just went for the drop. He executed it well. He's taken out the siege tanks in the main as well. I think he can just pick up and get out.
Maru was tired of running away, of running to the left, right, defending his main and the 3rd, the 4th. So he decided to go and be aggressive, dropped into his opponent's mains. The Viking was not able to deny it, not at all, attacking the wrong medivac as well, and this Doom drop sure did a number on Alive. He is now down on half the supply of his opponent, and here comes drop number 2.
Drop number 2 has another siege tank in it as well. He actually can just be a little bit more patient here and start taking out depots, for example. He's actually wasting a lot of resource here. These siege tanks for Alive, all with like over 10 kills.
He runs into the siege tanks, and this was definitely unnecessary. He loses everything with this drop. Only, well, not everything, 3 medivacs escape, but that's not really a lot. So Maru, I don't know. He's looking, of course, at a great spot here, but still a lot of small mistakes that allow Alive to get a little bit closer in supply. I don't think it's going to matter, though, in the end.
Well, if Maru continues to macro correctly, you're right. It won't matter because he has the better bank, he's got the better economy, and he has production, whereas all of those things are missing for Alive. He's got 12 Marines at a time being made, but he has no factories to speak of. He cannot produce siege tanks. He's just now remaking his tech hub on the first factory he rebuilt, so the siege tank count right now is 7 to 4 in Alive Saber, but that is changing slowly but steadily as Maru is getting 2 tanks at a time. 15 Marines plus 2 medevacs. He just has so much more production.
The cool thing about Alive is that he never stops. He started to rebuild his production. We have now a 4th base for him. He doesn't give up here. He knows that this is a matchup he's comfortable with, but the Marines start in and take down every single siege tank that Alive has positioned here, and now the Marines have free reign. Are they attacking the planetary though? He does not really want to commit there, and I can fully understand why.
Yeah, he's just going to siege up next to it and slowly but surely start to take it out. Alive in a very uncomfortable position, down in supply, his economy is under siege. All these SCVs, oh, I thought they were going the other direction, that was really scary.
No, but now he cannot really mind from his 4th. Once again a drop to the left side, which proves to be quite the nuisance, but Maru has units there in order to defend, and now he stimps actually in at the planetary fortress and takes the building down. 3 bases for Alive, actually only 2 as the main was killed, and at the natural we don't have minerals left, so Alive finds himself now on 1 mining base.
And not for long either, as Maru wants to attack it. He actually is just going to stim and run down the ramp into siege tanks because he's just got so much more supply than his opponent. Takes out the siege tanks. Alive, fully upgraded Marines, but not enough of them. Maru rips through the SCVs, targets the orbital. It's being repaired, but he's about to run out of money to repair with.
Great performance here by Maru. He is able to win game number 2. His 2nd game in this up and down group. Alive loses the Terran versus Terran match. Well played by Maru, who's now in a perfect spot, of course. Alive can drag this out a little bit longer, but with 60 supply against 180, his chances of winning here are slim to nothing.
Yeah, the next wave of Marines is just going to finish him off. They're all stimming, killing these production facilities once more that Alive just rebuilt. GG.
The game is over, and Maru, Alive, and Suoshin, all 3 of them looking at 1 win and 1 loss right now.
Yes.
Much better performance here by Maru Prime in game number 2 than in his first match against Liquid Hero.
And no situation in this group that's lopsided in one way or another. Basically, every player pretty close here. The next thing to wait for to find out is Hero versus Shine.
That's
both
gonna be a
players,
good one.
yeah. Both players have not played their 2nd game yet, and I think this will be a really, really close match. Shine not able to take out Suoshin, failed to hold his pressure, but against Hero, I think he'll have a better chance depending on what Hero decides to go for.
Hero is really good against Zerg though, so Shine has to be very careful how he approaches this. The matchup against Protoss is historically speaking his worst matchup. The last opponent that he faced was actually Ace in Code A. He was able to win against Ace, but on the other hand we have Hero, a really good player in this matchup. And now the map is gonna be Daybreak, so a well figured out map. Well, I think Hero and Shine should change their races if they don't want to play a Terran mirror match. They both start with GG, GGO. But yeah, here we are. Hero at least knows Protoss. Shine apparently with a race switch here. A little bit off racing. He's like, Zerg is too weak against Protoss these days. I'm picking Jaren. No, he didn't of course say that, guys. Don't worry.
I told him to switch to Zerg and he did it. He listened to me. Both players are ready now. Hero, see how he likes that chair over there, having to change his chair last time. Now sticking with it. Shine's getting his fingers ready. He's really getting them ready. In fact, they both are warming up a little bit in the booth. 5 seconds to go. The game will begin. The map will load. It is Daybreak. This is the GSL up and down matches for season number 4 of 2012, cast by Caldor and Wolf.